Hi, I wanted to make a little short video talking a little bit about Spanish pronunciation. Uh, it's one of the most difficult things about learning Spanish, I think, is learning how to pronounce things. But there is one thing that has helped me a lot as I've started to learn how to pronounce things better. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about this kind of secret, this key to pronunciation. So, something that is super helpful is to know your vowels. Of course, vowels aren't the only thing you have to know. It's important to know how to pronounce all the letters of the Spanish alphabet, but I have kind of learned that knowing your vowels can be especially helpful. So, we're going to look at what the vowels are. First, we have A, E, I, O, U. Okay? A, E, I, O, U. Now, one thing that can be a little bit difficult about the vowels is that, as you can see, the I makes kind of an E sound. And then the U makes a little bit of an O sound. So that's why it's really important to learn these really well. Repeat them in your head a lot. I suggest just repeating A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. And starting to learn these as well as you possibly can. So what's cool about vowels in Spanish is that they always make the same sound. Unless, of course, it has an accent mark, which is something that we're going to talk about a little bit later. Okay, but unless there's not an accent mark, they always make the same sound. So in English, we have vowels that we have like long vowel sounds, short vowel sounds, all of that stuff. That doesn't exist in Spanish. And so it makes it a little more simple for people who are native English speakers and trying to learn Spanish. So here's an example. If we take the word cielo, which means sky, we can kind of look at the vowels and break it down. So first we have an I, which is I, and then an E, which is I, and an O, which is O. And then we kind of add, so we've established what the vowels sound like. Now we can kind of add in the other letters. So we have C, E, L, O. Okay, and if we put that all together, that's cielo. Okay, so that's kind of the trick, is breaking it down, taking your vowels, figuring out what they sound like, and then adding in the other letters. Here's another example. Cascada. This word can kind of seem intimidating, but really it's pretty simple because it just has 3 A's, and all the A's make the same sound because there aren't any accent marks. And so we have a, a, a. And then we add in the other letters, and we have cascada, cascada. Okay, so that's a little bit how it works. And the last example, this one is interesting. So this is usualmente, which in English is usually. Okay, and this is a tricky one for native English speakers who are learning Spanish because we tend to want to put U's in there because it's similar to usually. And so people a lot of times say usualmente or usualmente. But if we look at breakdown, take out the vowels, we see that it's u, a, e, e. Then if we add the other letters in, see that it's usualmente, usualmente, instead of usualmente. Okay, so that is how we can use the vowels to figure out how to pronounce words. And so that is just a very simple, kind of quick explanation of it. But then we have accent marks. And accent marks basically change things. So we'll see a little bit how they change. So the first 5 letters here have the little dash over it. That dash is called a tilde. And the tilde changes like which syllable in the word needs to be stressed. So when we're reading a word in Spanish, we can see, oh, there's a tilde there. That means that this syllable has to be stressed. Okay, so for example, if we take the word tome, we can see that it has two syllables. There's to and me. And without the tilde, we can see that it's pronounced just as we see it here. O-e, tome. But if we add in a tilde, which puts this word in past tense, then we see that we need to stress the second syllable of the word. And so the me goes to me, okay? And it's kind of a little bit hard to recognize the change there. It's a little bit of, it's not like a huge change, but there is. So it goes from me to me. Like that second part, the second syllable gets stressed and it puts the word into the past tense. And why is this important? Well, a tilde, a word with an accent mark, can put a word into the past tense. It can put it in the present tense. Or even there are some words that are, it's one word without an accent mark and it's a totally different word with an accent mark. So that's why it's important to know how to pronounce words that have tildes. Okay, here's another example. We have the word lágrima. Okay, and if we take the accent mark out, it would be lágrima. But that's not the word that we're trying to say. We're saying lágrima. And so we have to stress that first syllable that has the A with the accent mark. Lágrima. Okay. And so then there's this other thing, which is the U with